Welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Let's talk about the other China, Taiwan. A beautiful, tropical island. Now armed to the teeth with U.S. missiles. Just in time for the 4th of July. President Trump announced a plan to sell more than $1 billion worth of weapons to Taiwan, which resulted in a great fireworks display right in front of the Chinese embassy. The weapons package includes $1.4 billion worth of torpedoes, technical support for early warning radar, anti-radiation missiles, and missile components. Trump's announcement, though, is not really groundbreaking. The U.S. has sold weapons to Taiwan dozens of times over the past 50 years. The last time was approved by President Obama less than 2 years ago. But for the Chinese Communist Party, it's something they never quite get used to. Like when your roommate leaves his dirty socks in the living room. Come on, Carl, we've talked about this 100 times. What is your problem? And that's because the Chinese regime considers Taiwan to be a third-rail issue. They say Taiwan is a breakaway province of China. And deep in their hearts, they hope that someday, Taiwan and mainland China will be reunited. And nothing makes you want to get back together with someone more than having weapons pointed at you. Taiwan doesn't really like this. And neither does its longtime ally, the United States. That's why the two have a long-standing weapons agreement.
Only by actively preparing for battle can the battle be stopped. Only with our own strength can peace be maintained.
Well, Madam President, the Chinese ambassador would beg to differ.
How can you promote peace and stability by selling arms? This is the most ridiculous argument.
Yes, China is all about peaceful development, as you can see from the embassy's official website. That would be a really good argument, except that China kind of supplies weapons to 37 countries, making China the third biggest weapons exporter in the world. Presumably no one told that to the Chinese ambassador, which is why the Chinese embassy said the Chinese government and Chinese people have every right to be outraged over the U.S.-Taiwan weapons deal. A deal so big, it's only a quarter the size of China's $5 billion weapons deal with Pakistan. Well, besides all the weapons selling part, the Chinese Communist Party is totally about peaceful development, I swear. We silly Americans just don't understand the larger picture, which is why Ambassador Cui said China needs to continue to instruct the U.S. and continue advancing on the right track of U.S.-China relations. Unfortunately for the Chinese regime, President Trump seems to be uninstructable. And in addition to the weapons deal with Taiwan, this month has seen another shift in Trump's tactics on dealing with China. There are signs that Washington is about to take the kid gloves off, and underneath those gloves,
look at those hands. Are they small hands?
Maybe Indian Prime Minister Modi, who got this bear hug from the president, could answer that question. The two met at the beginning of the week. India is China's main Asian rival, and according to China expert Gordon Chang, it was clear both saw in the other the means to contain an increasingly aggressive Chinese state. Anyways, the U.S. State Department has labeled China as one of the worst human trafficking offenders. That was followed by another whammy. The U.S. accused the Chinese bank of Dandong of laundering money for North Korea.
This bank has served as a gateway for North Korea to access the U.S. and international financial systems, facilitating millions of dollars of transactions for companies involved in North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs.
And when Steven Mnuchin says he's going to go after you, watch out, because he was the executive producer of over a dozen action blockbusters. So I assume he can personally call for backup from the heroes whose movies he's funded, including Wonder Woman, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and the most fearsome of all, Lego Batman. The U.S. Treasury also slapped sanctions on 2 guys and a shipping firm over their North Korean ties. Dang! Mnuchin just stole my sitcom idea. 2 guys, a megalomaniac, and a shipping firm. Anyway, all this follows President Trump's reportedly growing frustration with China's inability to rein in North Korea, which probably wasn't helped by this news.
Kim Jong-un calls it a gift package for the 4th of July. Pyongyang saying Wednesday its new intercontinental ballistic missile can carry a nuclear warhead.
Apparently it could hit Alaska. brings a whole new meaning to the show, Deadliest Catch. Ever since Trump was elected last November, the relationship between the U.S. and China has been up and down like a game of whack-a-mole. First, Trump took a phone call from Taiwan's president.
This is believed to be the first time a president-elect has spoken with a Taiwanese leader since 1979 when the two countries broke off ties. They are going to, Wolf, I can't underestimate how they're going to freak out.
And freak out, China did. Especially after Trump then questioned the One China policy. But the relationship seemed to thaw in the spring after Trump invited Chinese leader Xi Jinping to his Mar-a-Lago estate. I also like to show off my cool house when people come to visit. At the time, Trump said their relationship was really warming up.
The relationship developed by President Xi and myself, I think, is outstanding. We look forward to being together many times in the future.
Though now it seems like the relationship could be getting icy once again, as Trump feels China's efforts to stop North Korea are going nowhere. And if he's not asking for China's help anymore on North Korea, well, it's a good time to sell $1 billion in weapons to Taiwan. And coming up after the break, we bring you corruption, sex scandals, and murder. Or as the Chinese Communist Party calls it, Tuesday. Listen, you know what's better than $1 billion worth of weapons? More China Uncensored. If you visit ChinaUncensored.tv, you can watch this and other segments on our full-length episode right now, before they come out on YouTube. We began doing standard-length TV episodes on July 7th, because what could be better than watching China Uncensored for half an hour? What's that, Shelley? It sounds like you're rolling your eyes.